I think, is the fun of being in a movie. Film is not a competitive arena. It's a collaborative experience, always. I'm constantly being, distracted by the way I'm doing something, the way my face worked, or that's not my job. Asked for my PAN number and Aadhaar card so that I could come in and say hello to a friend. I mean, excuse me? What authority? Conversations I'm hearing. उन लोगों से डर है, वो लोगों को बाहर रखो. Our societies don't allow people in from the people they have paid taxes to for all these years. Embarrassing and horrifying.
Hello and welcome to Midday.com. I'm Anjali Singh, and today with me I have the veteran actor Ms. Ratna Pathak Shah. Ratna ma'am, welcome to Midday.com.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's an immense pleasure to see you and to have this opportunity to talk to you actually. So and right now when I saw the Unpaused trailer, and it is again something new that we are going to see you in. Tell me this whole thing which was filmed during the pandemic and it revolves around it. How different as an experience it has been, or how challenging it has been for you as an actor?
There's something very interesting about film. Once the camera starts rolling, everything seems familiar. The work itself does not change much. The environment has changed significantly. There's no doubt about that. There was a sense of fear, which was not something that I'm used to. I've been around for a while, and fear was not an emotion I associated with being uh, at work. But here, of course, there was. Certainly, our producers were looking after us, and we were all ourselves taking a lot of precautions. But the nature of the film, of the work, is such that it becomes difficult to be paranoid for any length of time. I think that's a very good thing because it releases you from fear. I think one of the worst things that the pandemic has done is to make all of us deeply fearful and mistrusting of everyone around. Everyone is a potential danger. That worldview, to me, is a really scary worldview. And the pandemic has engendered this and made it worse in us. So I was very, very happy to be rid of that sense. I shot for 2.5 days. We shot in the most difficult conditions. We were on the streets in Mumbai. We were shooting when it was pouring rain. We were in a tiny auto rickshaw, 2 people, but never only 2 people, because there's the camera, there's the rig, there's the sound, and everyone has to come in and adjust all these various things every time you cut a take. There's a lot of interaction between all kinds of people. So after a point, you just had to stop getting worried. You wore a mask. I wore a mask all the time when I was not on camera. And sometimes when I was on camera, because my character is that of this paranoid upper middle class woman who's imagining that germs and people are going to invade her space and kill her. So it was a interesting experience, and I'm very happy to have been part of it because I certainly lost a lot of my fear in the process.
Ma'am, tell me that, what really do you think is you really liked about Unpaused? Was it the concept or the character, or what was it that really kind of made you very excited to take this up?
Unpaused is the name of the anthology, which consists of 5 films. My film is called Chaand Mubarak. So about the whole concept, I thought it was a terrific concept, that it gave us a chance to reflect on something that had happened immediately. अभी अभी जो हम पे गुजरी थी, उसी के बारे में हम कुछ कह सके. I thought that was a very interesting and an unusual situation. As Nitya spoke about this a little while ago, it also meant that here was a job where you had no reference points. You wrote a script without any reference. You couldn't copy from anyone because nobody had made films on a pandemic before, right? Yeah. So it was clean slate. It was the sort of freedom that we have experienced after a long time. It was a small unit, which I just love because I come from a time when indie films were what I saw happening around me. People making films with small budgets, but with great passion and with commitment. And here it was again, not this big behemoth of Bollywood, but something that meant a lot to a group of individuals. I really, really like that. And as far as Chand Mubarak is concerned, I enjoyed the story very much when I read it. I thought it spoke uh, to, it put into an artistic form something that I have felt for a long time, which is that the world that we are living in now seems to be creating distance between people rather than bringing people closer. In our country ourselves, we are becoming exclusive. There's constantly this thing of us and them, us and them. We are at risk. They are going to attack. Who that they is, we don't know. But the fear quotient is constantly bumped up. I really think that Chand Mubarak addresses that issue. And it is an issue that I'm seeing all around me. Conversations I'm hearing, उन लोगों से डर है, वो लोगों को बाहर रखो. Our societies don't allow people in. One society in which I was supposed to go for something or the other, a housing society, a cooperative housing society, asked for my PAN number and Aadhaar card so that I could come in and say hello to a friend. I mean, excuse me, what authority? So, this kind of sense of keeping people out became a common experience. And of course, the worst of it was what we saw on the streets all around. Hundreds and thousands and lakhs of people left to their own devices without any help from the people they have paid taxes to for all these years. Embarrassing and horrifying. So I really thought that Unpaused gave us a chance to reflect on all these things. Chand Mubarak gave me a particular chance to focus on one part of this issue. I'm deeply grateful that I got the opportunity.
I think when it will come out completely, each one of us will relate to it because we are still into that situation as of now. It has somewhere affected everyone, be it a child, domestic help or a driver, everybody. Tell me what exactly one change that you introspected or you over this whole pause that we went through.
To somebody else who asked me this question, a lot of these changes that have occurred are still too new. We are assimilating them, processing them. And there are some changes which I don't feel I want to talk about with anyone at the moment, certainly not on a public platform. But what I'm seeing around me, what I've seen in my immediate environment and in the world around, has been extremely impactful. And that it will reflect in the work we do after this. Of that, I have no doubt. It will cause me to choose certain things or reject certain other things or find my way of making a positive contribution in this situation, which is finally the most important. All of us need to look for the way in which we can contribute to making this world better than what it is today. 2021, I do not want to go back to how things were. I want a new and a better world for all of us.
So we have Shardul with us now. Shardul Bharadwaj, welcome to media.com. And me and Ratna ma'am are talking about your, the Unpaused and Chaand Mubarak. Tell me, as I asked her also, that what did you like about this concept so much? She has given her, what she liked about it. As an actor, why you got really excited about it?
As a professional, first of all, I was excited about getting work after 6 months of staying at home. So that's the most honest thing. And it was Amazon. Nitya Mehra was involved, and Ratna ma'am was involved. There was a script which talked about the here and now, and which talked about what we are seeing in COVID, what we have made our institutional structures to be and our children to be and ourselves to be, and COVID has just made it very clear to us that it's not going to hold. So that worked for me.
Shardul, when you get to work alongside such a like immensely experienced actor like Ratna ma'am, what impact does it have on the actor or you? And what is, I wouldn't just call it an experience, of course it is, but something that is like, okay, this is it, and this has happened because I worked alongside her. So what was that?
For me, when I see Ratna ma'am on set, and also it is in Ratna ma'am's own behavior, that it's not like somebody who's had almost 30 years or more of experiences standing in front of you, of both theater and films. So it's a new day, fresh day. Obviously, when you do the scenes, when you redo them, when you have retakes, and especially in our case, we were the ones in the auto, and the crew or everybody would be a little away so that they're not in the camera frame, So we were close to each other, and we were talking work, you know. So I'm sure everybody should fraternize on a set and should be friendly. But at the end of the day, you're there to work, and it was focused work because we didn't have time. It was raining, so so you really had every time. Oh, bandui, 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 bandui. So in that case, like when you have Ratna ma'am behind you, you just have some scenes, something new will happen, and I as a young actor would in my head would go like, oh great, kitna badhiya hua. But then someone is there to say कि अच्छा ये भी हो सकता है. So that works, like so that way that discussion sort of works, and it's not like I am giving a suggestion, so she's saying, oh no, I have done more work. I'm not going to take a suggestion. So it just becomes a nice place to like hear her, talk to her.
Film is not a competitive arena. It's a collaborative experience, always. The best work is done when you can trust each other and you can collaborate with each other. So that's what we are always looking for. How does it matter whether Shardul has done one film or five? He's bringing something to the table that I don't know, and I'm doing the same, vice versa. So that's what I think is the fun of being in a movie.
Yeah, that's beautifully put actually, because yeah, if I get to know somebody like you and if I get a chance, I will, just ask a lot of questions, just to kind of get something from your experience. And that's how I think every actor,
Not when it's raining, huh? And not when you've
not
got
when
2 days
it's
to finish a shoot. No way. Then you have no time for
absolutely
advice and काम करो फटाफट निकलो यहाँ से बाहर.
true, true, true. And also when we were in the lockdown, we had our own ways to cope up with whatever time we had, or tough, difficult, depressing, whatever you may call. What were the things that, ma'am, you were doing? And Shardul, also, I want to know from you, both of you, how did you kind of spend your time during the lockdown?
I did a lot of bartan jhadu pocha, which everyone did, and cooking and all that, which was fun for a while. But after a point, it just became a chore. We tried to do a certain number of things online, doing storytelling for children, doing poetry recitation, etc., which was also fun. But I deeply miss the experience of being in a rehearsal with other actors. And I also found it terribly disconcerting to act looking into a camera that I'm operating myself and seeing myself in front of me. I'm constantly being, distracted by the way I'm doing something, the way my face worked, or that's not my job. To look at me is not my job. That's the camera person's job. I was very, very delighted to be in a situation where I didn't have to look at myself while I'm acting. So this film was a great relief to get out of all the boredom and the constrictions that we had been operating under.
Shardul, how about you? Anything interesting that you did throughout this lockdown?
A lot of interesting things. Lot of interesting things. I didn't know how many columns my floor had in tiles. I know them now by count.
That's
So
wonderful. That's
lots
so
of interesting
productive.
things. Yeah, earlier I used to hear all kinds of filmmakers talk about how washing dishes is a meditative thing for filmmakers and things like that. So I did that, was meditative in the first month, and so I was at home with my mother and my cousin brother. So there were interesting conversations between me and my brother dividing chores. So
Ma'am, I don't know if you know about it or if you saw it or no, but then one interesting thing that happened was Doordarshan was telecasting a lot of old, sitcoms and all that, and I happened to watch Idhar Udhar. And I was telling you, I don't know, did you see that during the lockdown or no?
No, I wish I'd known. I didn't know that. I
I
would love to
watched
watch
from
Idhar Udhar.
episode 1 to the last episode, and I was like, when it got over, because earlier it was not such long seasons and all, I was so elated. It was such a stress buster. Tell me
Thank
something
you.
about that time, some nostalgic, anything that you remember. It was so simply shot. so simply conveyed, yet it was so entertaining.
Idhar Udhar was very special for me. It saved me from becoming a terrible bore as an actor because it introduced me to comedy. I was, of course, prepared to be one heavy dramatic actress type, as everyone is when they get out of drama school or film school or wherever we get our training. But I didn't get any work at all except for Idhar Udhar, which was a comedy. And thank God for it. And thank God for Lilliput and Anand Mahindru and Supriya and Ravi Baswani. We had such a wonderful time. I mean, can you imagine? In That was in 1984. We made a serial about two people, two women and a man living together without any sexual or familial connections, and that was perfectly fine. Nobody objected to the fact that हमारे देश की संस्कृति बिल्कुल तबाह हो रही है इसकी वजह से or anything of that sort. I thought that was fantastic. So Idhar Udhar was great fun. It taught me a lot of things about myself. It taught me, most important, that drama school had given me very few skills that were of use when I was actually working on a job. So I had to redevelop my skills. It also taught me to be humble and to be able to accept the fact. And working with Supriya was absolutely delightful. My mother was also in it, so it just became like a family scene after a point.
Now tell me, like having done a wide range of characters and roles, ma'am, does that make it easy for you or difficult for you now to choose a role? Like, okay, I've done this also, done that also, so what different I can do? How do you go about choosing your roles now?
You're right. I keep looking for how to find something that is different from what I have done. Unfortunately, I too have got typecasted into the upper middle class, slightly bitchy, but still sharp tongued and kind, also firm, but authoritative elder woman. I keep getting parts of that sort. Thank God, lipstick under my burqa gave me something different to do. And some other films have also. I am hoping that people will be able to think of me in other ways, not just in this particular light. And Maya Sarabhai, I will be able to sort of put aside as a very pleasant and beautiful experience, but not have to carry her around on my shoulder all the time.
Ma'am, you have seen cinema evolving or evolved over the past, decades. What are the changes that you really feel happy about? What are the changes that you feel doesn't match your sensibilities? Anything that you would want to share?
Better writing all around. I'm seeing much better writing than I saw when we began. I'm seeing people who are much more knowledgeable and thoughtful about the work they are doing. They don't only want to copy, they want to create something new. I'm so relieved. I've been waiting for this for 40 years. I'm also seeing a bunch of completely different kind of actors and directors, technicians who are working. I am delighted that I have been able to experience this stage of our development of entertainment in our country. I hope to be around for a while and do some more.
Of course, and we want you to be around and see more of your work, interesting work. And Shardul, same for you. So thank you for talking to Media.com, and we are looking forward to your projects, to Unpaused, to Chaand Mubarak and his story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.